When you spent 5 years trying to be the kind of husband who shows up loyal, reliable, hardworking, you don't expect the person you love most to gut you with a single sentence. But that's exactly what Amber did. It was after one of those pointless arguments, the kind where you can't even remember what sparked it. We'd been bickering over something small, something forgettable. Then she rolled her eyes, arms crossed, and said with sharpness I'll never unhear, "Maybe if you weren't so lazy in bed, I wouldn't be so bored all the time." I froze. It wasn't just cruel. It was calculated. A shot fired not in the heat of passion, but with surgical intent, to humiliate, to belittle. And it worked. For the first time in our marriage, I felt small in my own home. She walked away like she hadn't just shattered something sacred. No apology, no second glance, just silence trailing in her wake, while I stood there, stunned, holding the weight of her words like broken glass in my hands. For weeks after that, I went quiet, not out of anger, but self-preservation. I slept on the couch, worked longer hours, avoided her eyes. I needed time, space, breath, to think, and the more I reflected, the clearer it became. Amber hadn't suddenly become cruel. She had grown comfortable being cruel. That line about me being lazy wasn't an isolated slip of the tongue. It was the loudest echo of years of subtle digs, snide comparisons, and backhanded compliments. She used to joke about how boring I was, how her friends' husbands were more ambitious, more exciting. That night, I made a decision. Something had to change. And that change would start with me. I got back into the gym. Not for her, not for approval, but because I wanted to feel strong again, inside and out. I cleaned up my eating, reconnected with old friends, and finally launched a side business I'd shelved for years. I stopped asking for validation. I stopped waiting for her praise. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel small. I felt grounded, capable, awake. Amber noticed, of course. Suddenly, she was curious. "Where are you going? Who are you with?" Her tone turned softer, like she was trying to reach a version of me she didn't even realize she'd buried. I kept things polite, measured, but distant. Eventually, I moved out. I told her I needed space. What I really needed was distance. Distance from her words. Distance from a man I had let myself become under the weight of her indifference. Soon her attitude shifted. She began sending old photos of us. Texts full of memories. "Remember this trip? Remember that night?" I didn't reply. Nostalgia can be a beautiful liar. I'd spent too long drowning in memories that looked like love but felt like absence. Then one night, her name lit up my phone again. This time, her voice was shaking. She was crying. "I'm sorry," she whispered, "for everything. I didn't mean what I said. I was angry. I miss you." I said nothing. And then she said what I've been expecting. "You've changed so much. You look amazing. Everyone's saying you're doing really well. I want to fix things. I'll do whatever it takes." Her voice broke, but mine didn't. "You didn't just insult my body," I said. "You insulted my spirit. And you didn't care, not until you saw me thriving without you." She begged. She offered therapy, promised to be better. But by then, I had already left a version of me who needed her behind. I ended that call not with anger, but with clarity. The kind that settles into your bones after too many nights of questioning your worth. I had mistaken her cruelty for honesty. I had mistaken my silence for strength. But true strength is walking away when staying would mean abandoning yourself. And healing, it isn't about revenge. It's about peace. Now I'm with someone new. Someone who measures love not by performance, but by presence. She doesn't tear me down in moments of frustration. She sees me. Not just when I'm winning, but when I'm weary. Amber still reaches out sometimes. Messages here and there. But I don't answer, because the version of me she disrespected no longer exists. And the man I've become, he has no space left for someone who only saw his worth after it was far too late.